Recap in minutes. In today's video, we will be enjoying an action drama sci-fi film, entitled Foxtrot 6. There will be spoilers ahead, chill out and enjoy. The movie begins with a news report about the global economy collapsing, as food prices skyrocket due to widespread food shortages. Their youngest elected president, Indra Siswati, declares his mission to aid the new global hunger prevention initiative. Indonesia promises to be the world's leading food basket. In 2019, Angga Saputra met up with his girlfriend, the journalist Sari Nirmala, and proposed asking her to marry him, but she told him to wait for her parents' approval. After that, she immediately goes to Solo with her TV crew to talk to President-elect Indra Siswati in a one-on-one interview. By 2031, Indonesia will be a very developed country. Angga, now a member of Congress, still wants to be with his girlfriend, Nirmala. Unfortunately, on the day of her interview, a revolution led by piranhas broke out. During the movement, she and Indra, together with many other, go missing and are presumed dead. Angga was later revealed to be a former Indonesian Marine soldier. Following that, it's clear that Indonesia is now under the control of a corrupt political party known as the Piranhas Party, which has a special security force known as Jarum that's only interested in oppressing the people. Angga is driven by a woman named Sergeant Raya Pratama. It has been found out that he wrote the Farmers Act, which was signed into law by the president. This law allowed the piranhas to monopolize Indonesian food stock distribution, which worsened the country's famine. As a result of his actions, he's invited to a high-level secret meeting at Piranha's headquarters. Angga meets his boss, Soe Ganda, a Piranha's elite cadre and senator. Inside, he meets the four horsemen of the Piranhas Party, Ahmad Barona, president of Piranhas and current president of Indonesia, Hengki Laksono, media mogul and head of Piranha's propaganda affairs, General Adnan Atmadia, Jarum paramilitary commander, and Farid Baskoro, leader of the Piranhas Party. Angga informs them that the public no longer trusts the government due to the food and economic crises and that a rival power known as the Reform is rising. The Reform is an underground rebel group that seeks public sympathy and offers hope to the poor. As the party's power grows, Angga proposes a military approach to dealing with the rebels and a black ops project called Heroic Act to kill the Reform, promising that the rebel movement would die out and the party's image would improve. In exchange, Angga requested a fee of 1% of Piranha's revenue per year. Angga later receives confirmation to carry out the mission of destroying the Reform. However, he will not lead the death squad, he must carry out the operation alongside Winsu or the Wolf. He's dissatisfied with their choice because he knows Wisnu, his former partner, has a poor track record and sadistic tendencies. He travels to Jarum's covert headquarters in Jakarta and reluctantly presents the proposal to Wisnu. Wisnu is pleased with this and shows Angga the latest combat gadgets worn by Gecko and Aula. Wisnu then draws his gun and threatens Angga during an argument. When Angga notices a drone is watching them, Wisnu orders his men to pursue the drone while leaving Angga alone. As Angga exits the building, he notices a mysterious hooded figure controlling the drone, alerting him to the fact that he is being observed. The hooded man then flees the scene into the alley. Angga threatens the man with his gun after a brief altercation, but the hooded man knocks him out. After that, he is taken to the headquarters, where he fights against the masked men as he tries to escape. But he is stopped by Nirmala, his ex-girlfriend, whom he thought was dead. She asks him what Wisnu knows about them, but he doesn't respond. Instead, he tries to convince her to come with him, but she says that she knows Angga is a member of Piranhas and is aware of their evil deeds. In the middle of their discussion, a young girl named Dinda appears. She then tells him that Dinda is their daughter. Nirmala later reveals that when she discovered he was involved, Indra was haunted, so they went underground and spent years building the Reform together. Angga can't believe that Nirmala started the Reform, but she tells him that he's been fed lies. Then Spec, the hooded man from earlier, notices something is wrong and advises everyone to leave immediately. The power goes out unexpectedly, and it turns out that Angga has been followed by someone wearing an invisibility cloak. Not long after, Wisnu and his troops break into the location and kill the rebel troops. Wisnu later declares Angga to be a Reform collaborator and traitor to the country. Angga, Nirmala, and Dinda, along with Spec, flee and arrive at the rebel troops' hideout in a large unused mall. They enter the old building, and Angga notices many people taking refuge there. He also meets former President Indra Siswati, the rebel leader. Indra takes him to see the people who still believe he can lead Indonesia again. Angga calls Soe Ganda, the only senator he trusts, to inform him that he discovered Nirmala still alive. However, Soe Ganda can't assist him and informs him that he's now on the Jarum's kill list. Angga now realizes his mistake and plans to help the people. He takes the initiative, along with Spec, to form a special combat force against piranhas. Anga and Spec then approach the 4 people one at a time. They first meet OG, who initially refuses to join but eventually agrees due to his mother's persuasion. They then meet Bara, who decides to take part without hesitation. When they ask Tino to join them, he demands his cut from the previous mission, so Anga hands over his expensive watch as a down payment and a quarter of everything in his stash. Finally, they hire Ethan, who accidentally activates his webcam for vlogging. They asked Ethan to hack into the Piranha's server, where they discovered Piranha's plan to assassinate some of its top members tomorrow, including Soeganda. This false flag operation will be blamed on the reform and allow a mass state-sanctioned genocide against anyone who disagrees with Piranhas. However, due to Ethan's clumsiness, Aula and his death squad are able to track them down. Luckily, Spec warns them, and they escape, destroying Ethan's computer to remove evidence. However, Aula finds an old group photo of the Foxtrot's 5 members, allowing her to identify them. The 6 men gather in the old mall of the Reformers' headquarters and devise a plan to prevent the Senator's execution plan, which the Wolf will carry out. The next day, Piranha's troops led by Wisnu stop a convoy of Senators and open fire on them. Fortunately, the Senators are saved thanks to the Foxtrot 6. They transport the Senators to the Reform headquarters, but Wisnu's troops have already taken over the mall. Wisnu threatens to decapitate Nirmala if his men don't lay down their weapons. He brutally hangs all the Senators and uses their deaths as false evidence to incite and legitimize Piranha's state-sanctioned genocide. The 7 Senators are executed before the Reformers who saved them. Later, Wisnu summons Anga to inform her that Indra, Dinda, and a group of civilians are imprisoned in a freight elevator. Wisnu dupes Anga into revealing the password that sets off the bomb rigged across the building. He forces him to choose between saving Nirmala and his child. Wisnu and his men depart, leaving Nirmala surrounded by flames. Anga's men deceive their guards and escape. Anga then tries to save Nirmala first, but the bomb attached to the elevator's binding explodes, causing the elevator to fall rapidly. Fortunately, Dinda is able to stop it by connecting the wires and activating the elevator's emergency brakes. Meanwhile, Nirmala slips off the building as Anga continues to try to get her out of the wheelchair. She manages to keep hold of the rope with Anga holding on to the other, but when she hears Dinda, she tells Anga to take care of their daughter, then she cuts the rope and drops on the flames, sacrificing herself. Dinda then calls her father, telling him to go to the emergency stairwell and help them out. However, after Anga saves everyone, he falls inside the elevator, and it descends again, causing him and Dinda to get trapped inside. Fortunately, one of their friends hands them a rope to hold and pulls them out of the elevator shaft. On the other hand, Sergeant Rhea is waiting to assist them with their mission. That night, they use the Piranha's own media to send videos all over the country showing Senators being killed and blaming the reform. Later, Spec informs the Indonesian Marines and dispatches troops to assist survivors. Sergeant Rhea, Anga's chauffeur and the congressman's bodyguard, is later identified as one of the Marines present. Anga and Tino disagree about what they should do next, but Tino eventually agrees to fight. With Rhea's assistance, the Foxtrot 6 team acquires military equipment and embarks on a suicide mission to depose President Ahmad Barona. They board a fighter plane and fly directly to the Piranha's tower, jumping from a great height to avoid an ambush. Their goal is to obtain a confession tape to end the chaos. Meanwhile, martial law has been declared throughout the country as the situation worsens. The 6 soldiers make their way into the Piranha's tower. Ethan gains access to the control room, turns off the building's electrical and security systems, and opens all access doors to the VIP room. Then, OG and Tino prepare the explosives that will be used to demolish the tower. As their sniper from the top of the South Tower, Specs are their eyes. At the same time, Anga and Bara stand guard at the door. Unfortunately, Wisnu's troops discover and ambush Ethan's position a few moments later. As a result, OG sets the bombs off to cause a distraction for Wisnu's men, while Bara fights against the Piranha's troops, who arrive in more significant numbers. When OG and Tino are about to enter the building, they fight a Kodiak combat robot on the stairs. Spec watches from the top of the tower, assisting them by blinding the robot's camera. OG uses this opportunity to stab the Kodiak in the exposed head. Unfortunately, OG is shot and dies. A fight breaks out on the roof of the building between Spec and Piranha's troops, and Spec defeats them all, including the soldier wearing an invisibility cloak. Anga gets into the elevator while Tino tries to divert the general's attention away from them. Anga is cornered, and Ethan, dressed in a Kodiak combat suit, assists him. They enter the VIP room, where Henki Lakesano is the only person present. Anga forces Junkie into publicly admitting Piranha's conspiracies. However, Junkie is shot in the head by the piranhas. Then, Wisnu stabs Ethan from behind while Anga blasts the ceiling and buries them. Anga and Wisnu fight on the helipad, and Wisnu shoots Anga with his last bullet and taunts him. After that, Ahmad announces a law that allows people to kill any reform members and all Piranha's opponents, justifying statewide genocide committed by their people across Indonesia. Soon after, a video of Ahmad appears. Ethan's camera unintentionally recorded his conversation with Anga, which Ethan recorded just before he died. Because the video is on Piranha's exclusive emergency broadcasting channel, it can't be turned off. When the public realized what had happened, public support for Piranhas plunged, and people became enraged due to the government's lies in the Astana Negara storm. Wisnu and his surviving men attempt to flee the burning Piranha's headquarters, only to be met by angry men waiting for them. The madmen later brutally murder Wisnu and his men. A week later, due to the viral video of the president's confession, the Piranha's party and administration are classified as suspects. They will be tried at the International High Court next week, where they could get life sentences. The media has traced Ethan's identity as the uploader of the viral video, and he's regarded as a hero. Meanwhile, Anga and Bara attend the funeral of Nirmala together with the fallen soldiers, Oji and Ethan. Anga adds an empty casket containing a sniper rifle for Spek, whose body is never recovered. On the other hand, Tino bailed and is now gone, according to Bara. During the day in a peaceful protest, Anga meet his daughter again. They then leave to a better Indonesia, no longer fearful and free. The movie ends in a US Marine base, revealing that Spek is still alive. As he boards, the Marines greet him, implying that Spek is a US Marine operative. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more videos like this, and help the channel grow.